Okay, so let's discuss about lines and shapes. Okay, so first we need to understand why we need to use lines and shapes in a design. Okay, so if you see, whenever you see these kind of scenarios, you should think of lines or shapes. Okay, so the first thing is decoration. Okay, so if you want to decorate, like if you are, let us suppose if you are design block, whether it is a content block or a hero section of your page, any section of your page, if it is looking boring, then to give some style or some decoration to your website, you can use the shapes. So let me give you an example on how it can be done. Okay, so take an example of this site, right? So you see some shapes here. So these are all used for decoration purposes, right? So if you see the geometric circle shape here, and in those circles there is a small image. Okay, all these geometric shapes are given for decoration, right? So I really doesn't notice them, but it notices as a beauty or decoration. Even this curve, right? How it has been aligned. So that is also for decoration purpose. Instead of giving a straight line, they have nicely curved it. Okay, so all this is creativity. Okay, so you can once you keep visiting number of sites and take inspiration from number of sites, you will know how best you can use a particular geometric shape in your design. Okay, so this is about decoration. So whenever you want to decorate a particular website, you can use it using shapes. Okay, so that is one of the use. And next thing is guidance to the eye. Okay, so let me show you an example for these two. If, for example, you take the text like this. Okay, so these texts are arranged in a square format, right? So though there is no square actually speaking here, but the text is actually aligned in certain way. Okay, so if you are seeing these two logo and heading, those two are aligned, and these two are not exactly aligned, but they are aligned in a certain way, right? And these two are also aligned. So this forms a group. So I unknowingly it assumes a particular boundary among these things, and it will whenever you are reading a text, right, you go like this. Like if you are from a reader from left to right, you tend to go your right tend to go like this, and it comes down here, and then it reads like this, right? So, so to guide eye in a certain way, you can arrange the items in the form of geometric shapes. For example, I can just simply remove these, and I could select these two, and I could put it like this to give it a triangular shape, maybe, right? And then this also looks good. Like if I just increase the size of these two, then this also looks good. Right, so try to position your text in the form of geometric shapes, so that your eye, like your user's eye, will be guided in those particular lines. Okay, so you can explicitly give some horizontal lines also to guide eye in a particular way. Okay, so any if your design has a requirement to guide the user's eye in a particular way, then you should think of lines or shapes. Okay, so that is one of the application of lines and shapes. And the second thing is grouping or structuring. Okay, let us take an example of this also. Like if you take this side, right? So here they've used lines. They just have used the lines to segregate the different sections of this particular hero image, right? So if you see, like, just try to assume, right? If there is no border here or a line here, how does this look like? Right there, you feel certain emptiness here, and you don't know like where exactly this particular text is ending and where exactly this is starting. So you are just separating this to this, because everything is text here. you're just separating the elements so that I can focus on chunks of the elements one at a time. Okay, so you are just helping your user to focus on different sections. Like you are telling that these are the sections which I have. You can go in any way you want, right? So just to divide or group whenever there is a requirement like that in your design, that you will have to divide or structure or group certain elements, right? You need to think of the uh, lines and shapes. Okay, so the structuring need not be like an explicit line or shape like this. Okay, so if you go back to the example here again, so I have put these elements here. You see, like the text in these elements. So though there is no explicit border here, it is assumed that this text is wrapped into a square, right? So this is again like I assumes that there is a border here, though there is no border. Okay, so if you put some elements, a similar kind of elements like this around a particular text or particular element, it is assumed that those all fall under one group because it is wrapped under similar looking items like this. Okay, so and even if you see this one also, though there is no triangle, you assume that there is a triangle, and even you can remember like a dog's face by looking this, right? So it looks like as if there are two eyes and one nose. Okay, so the point here is that the eye mind assumes certain shapes, certain images by seeing certain shapes. Okay, so so you can use the shapes if you have such requirements in your website design. Okay, so all these are applications of lines and shapes. Okay, so then the last application would be like the creative art. Okay, so let's take an example for this. So if you take this image, right? So all these this entire image is formed through basic geometric shapes. Okay, so they haven't used any complex shape. All these are like basic geometric shapes. So these are all like vector arts. So you can use, like, if you are a good if you are good at drawing, you can do something like this on your own. Or if you are not good at drawing, if you are a pure developer like me, then and if you have a requirement that you have to use some vector art in your website, then I would recommend you go for a freelancer and go for a professional who can do a good design like this. If you if we try it on our own, it may not look good. Okay, unless we are very good at drawing. Okay, so you can take an example of this side too. Okay, so if you see, all these shapes are basic geometric shapes. So using basic geometric shapes, they have created some impressions, right? So all this is a creative work. Okay, so you might need a professional support here. Okay, so just take care of this whenever you are trying to use this particular designs in your website. It is not necessary to use them though, but if your clients demands that, then you might have to use some professional service. Okay, so this is another example on how they are using the design. And there is also vector art, wherein you can have some characters also using some basic shapes. Okay, so this is one of the application. So whenever you have such application needs in your website design, you need to think of lines and shapes. Hope you are clear about this, and let's proceed to another topic in our next lecture. Thank you.